there.
Hello. We are back. Another week. 3 more movies.
As always. Well, most of the time, at least.
Sometimes we do 4. Sometimes we even do 5.
But this week, again, we have 2 new releases and one from 1991 that's technically from 1961 because it was a re-release and on the Wikipedia page that I use. But we'll get into it.
It still counts. Lots of re-releases in the 90s.
I think going to the movie theater was more of a big event spectacle thing.
We don't get very many re-releases nowadays, do we?
I mean, you get the occasional one, but it doesn't feel like a big box office thing. It feels like a one night only or special weekend engagement, or maybe just your cool indie theater is doing something.
I guess in the era of streaming, theatrical re-releases aren't as much of a thing.
Yeah, it's really for the movie buffs who want to go and see a movie that they love in the theater with that experience.
Makes sense. All right, let's dive on in.
So the first movie we watched was called Girls Like Girls.
Yes.
It was directed by Hayley Kiyoko, the singer, and I remember her from the Disney Channel, where she totally played Alex Russo's girlfriend in Wizards of Waverly Place.
You know, I've never seen that show. Was
You're
it good?
a little older than me. It was pretty popular when I was a kid. I liked it.
And this movie is based off of their music video, right?
Yeah,
Or something like
I think
that?
her music video came out like 10 years ago or something. I'm honestly not super familiar with her music. I haven't seen the music video, actually, but I remember seeing the stills of it on Tumblr because it was pretty big when I was on Tumblr back in the day.
Okay.
But the movie essentially follows this young girl, but she's like 17,
Yes.
I think about to be a senior
Coley.
in high school. Yes, Coley.
Short for Nicole, I guess.
Yeah, because the whole time I was thinking, who named their kid Coley? And then her dad calls her Nicole, and I was like, okay, that makes sense.
Zach Braff plays her father in this movie.
Your favorite.
And I feel like Coley seemed like, without knowing it was short for Nicole at the beginning of the movie, I felt that was a very Zach Braff thing to do for some reason.
I mean, maybe. He was very much deadbeat alcoholic here. And then all of a sudden, he kind of just stopped. But the movie's not about the dad, so I guess it's fine.
No, this is very much like a coming-of-age sort of movie, figuring out oneself a little bit.
Yeah, it's very much about Coley.
Good friends.
And yeah, she moves to this new town at 17, which is already really hard, and it's because her mom died, and she has to move in with her deadbeat dad, Zach Braff.
Who she does not know. He was not in the picture really
he
up
took
until
off.
now.
Yeah. So she obviously resents him and is like, you know what, Dad? I'm going to get home whenever I want and do whatever I want because you abandoned me. And you know what? Fair.
And I feel like you take what he says with a little bit of grain of salt because partway through the movie, he's explaining that, like, hey, your mom didn't want me around, something like that. But that's very convenient now that she's not around to defend her side of things.
Well, and
know?
Even if the mom says she doesn't want him around, I'm assuming it's not like he was violent or a criminal or something.
We don't
know. He
know.
was probably just really immature. He does seem to be a bit of an alcoholic now, though.
Zach Braff has a history of punching children, so...
See, if he really wanted to be around his kid, he could have gotten partial custody or even, she spends a couple weeks every summer with me or something to keep that relationship up, you know? It seems like he hasn't even seen this girl for at least a decade.
Yes. So it's setting an interesting scene for our movie.
Interesting thing to note, I don't think she ever comes out to her dad.
No, I don't believe so. He's oblivious.
Yeah, but she meets this group of friends. One of them is Ethan Hawke's son.
Who plays just a stand-up guy in this movie.
Just the worst.
Just kidding.
There's, of course, this girl there, and it's a little crush. They've got a little thing going.
Coley and Sonia. And Sonia is like the popular girl of this friend group.
Yeah, and she's the one who seems to be the nice one of the group. You know, she is the one who first approaches Coley and says, hey, come sit with us, come hang out with us, come to the lake with us, where Ethan Hawke's son picks her up and throws her in the lake, even though she's screaming for him to let her go.
So rude. And we see early on Ethan Hawke's son, I don't remember his
That's
character's
his
name, but yeah, it's just him. Ethan Hawke Jr. he's kind of possessive towards Sonia.
They seem to have maybe some on and off kind of relationship.
Like they're not
but not
dating.
really official. Yeah, they maybe like hook up and text and
high
flirt.
schooler stuff. Yeah. But Coley starts to get integrated in this group a little bit, hanging out with him a little bit more, starts kind of feeling out her place in this new town. She's got a bit of a crush and is trying to interpret if she's like picking up signals from her new friend, whether it's like more than a friendship vibe. They really get along and strike up a friendship and start hanging out almost exclusively pretty quickly.
You know, they seem like very close best friends. Sonia seems like she has a lot going on at home. Seems like she's gotten a little bit parentified. She's taking care of her little sister a lot.
Yes.
Her mom has her in really intense competitive dance, which that's a lot. And then, you know, she's figuring out herself and her sexuality and who she is and all that fun stuff. I do think it's important to note, wasn't the year like 2009?
Yes.
It's not like this is all happening
modern day.
Yes. I don't even think gay marriage was legal when this movie is set, and we're in a
sure.
small town.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it wasn't, because it wasn't until I was out of high school.
Fun times.
That's ridiculous.
Right.
Even though you still have a lot of bigotry and stigma now, especially given certain circumstances. In 2009, I think it was a lot more considered taboo, if that makes sense.
Though I will note, I don't recall other people other than our two main kind of love interests, I guess, down the line, but there's not too much outwardly homophobia, I suppose. It's more just kind of like awkwardness and things unsaid, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think Ethan Hawke's son is a little microaggressive.
Oh, definitely.
See, we don't really have those conversations with the parents, so we don't know how maybe they would feel about it. But Sonia does say, you know, I can't essentially be gay. I can't do this. I can't let my parents down. Like, that's how she frames it. It would be letting her parents down.
They avoid putting names to things like their relationship as it's growing or their particular feelings or orientation, you know?
Yeah, I don't think they even use the words like lesbian or bisexual in this movie.
I don't think so, no.
It just kind of is what it is. And
feels pretty typical for some like teenagers just trying to figure stuff out and like not really knowing how to define things, I suppose.
Yeah, and I do think this is a very real experience where Sonia, she's kind of only being explicitly queer when she is drunk.
And alone with Coley.
And from things I've heard and seen in certain cases, I do think that is a thing that happens.
Absolutely.
Especially for younger people when they're still trying to figure out their feelings. Yeah,
they're trying to hide feelings even though there's nothing to hide or be ashamed of course. 2009, different time.
It's more of like a protection thing,
absolutely.
I believe.
Well, yes, we get probably the first like half the movie is kind of the buildup of their relationship, and then Sonia, is that her name? She goes away for, I think it's like a dance camp or something for a while.
Dance camp.
They have a kind of a falling out. Coley gets the cold shoulder. Some of her feelings she maybe feels like aren't reciprocated.
Well, because Sonia, she doesn't know how to feel. So when her and Coley start making out when she's drunk, and then the next morning, she'll always say, oh, I was so wasted. I don't remember what happened. But then she's acting weird. She totally remembers what happened. She just doesn't want to confront those feelings yet.
Yes, very...
It's understandable for
yes.
especially for someone so young, but it doesn't make Coley feel good.
No, not at all. I feel like this was a pretty realistic portrayal of some like a relationship. Like this is probably based off of a lot of the creator and director's maybe life experiences, possibly, or personal experiences. I really liked the usage of AOL Instant Messenger
I never
in this.
used AOL
I
Instant
used that
Messenger.
like in 6th grade, I think.
Yeah.
You know what? Timeless.
It was a
Bring it
little
back.
before my time.
Bring it back.
You would see the scenes of Coley writing out a whole thing on Instant Messenger to send to Sonia, and then she would just delete it all and
Oh, yeah.
essentially say, "Hey, what's up?" or something like that. And I bet that happened all the time.
Hey, we've all been there, just pouring out your heart and then thinking like, nope, never mind.
And then seeing the Instant Messenger names, I would imagine kids would put a lot of thought into what their AOL Instant Messenger name was going to be.
Absolutely. I don't remember what mine was, though. Then to kind of compound Coley's kind of struggles with this, she's trying to work out this new living situation and relationship with her dad.
While also still grieving her mom.
Yes, very much.
And she has a lot of abandonment issues, understandably, because her dad left her as a kid, and then her mom killed herself, so she feels abandoned in that respect as well.
Right.
So then when one day Sonia is all lovey-dovey with her, and then the next day she's not talking with her, like, that doesn't feel good to anyone, but I think it hits Coley especially hard based on those circumstances.
Oh, absolutely. Teenagers can be so cruel.
Exactly.
Towards the end of our film, we get these teenagers are very unsupervised. They keep having these house parties with tons of alcohol. And,
I mean, who's gonna parent? Zach Braff?
oh, well, yeah, fair. And towards the end, there's kind of this rekindling of their relationship, the kind of reconnection. Coley kind of starts moving on after Sonia's gone for a little while. Coley gets a job, starts kind of moving on a little bit, but then Sonia and her family come to the restaurant where Coley's working at, and that kind of re-sparks things or dredges up some old feelings, you know? This takes place over maybe like a summer, something like that.
Yeah, and I do think it's interesting to note that when Coley gets this job at this restaurant, a lot of people who work at the restaurant are also queer, and so now she's around that and has these positive figures and people who get it.
Finding some acceptance.
Yeah, because let me tell you, in my small town, I had certainly never been around a community of queer people until I worked in a restaurant, and then they were all there. It was great.
No, I get it. It was, I think, a defining moment for Coley's character to be outside her normal comfort zone or social environment. And like I said, finding some more acceptance, kind of normalizing things, understanding things she feels and wants aren't abnormal or anything to be like ashamed of, anything like that.
Yeah, and that also, she deserves to be treated well. And she does tell Sonia that. I will say, I get it, the end. Oh, happy ending. They're together. Like, it gives you the warm fuzzies. But if Coley had just said, you know what, Sonia, I can't with this, it would have been completely valid.
Yeah, Sonia is the one who's very kind of flip-floppy throughout the movie. We do have the very nice after credits scene where she runs up, they start smooching. But yes, I totally understand this is kind of a sort of like growing up sort of story.
I thought it hit all the points I expected it to hit.
Sure.
I was never, super surprised watching this movie, but I think it's a good movie to be out there in the world as well. I'm sure some 15-year-old in the middle of nowhere is going to watch this movie and it's going to be the most important thing they've ever seen in their life,
Very well could be.
So that's a positive overall. I think it's a good movie for teenagers to have in their arsenal of movies.
I agree. There's nothing, I guess, too dramatic or grandstanding in this movie. It's not gory or vulgar, really anything like that. We do have the one sequence where Coley hooks up with a gas station worker gal who they had seen because Coley kind of gets peer pressured by Sonia to steal like a bottle of like wine or something like that. Just being little rascals.
Yeah, I think the worst thing that was in this movie was all the underage drinking.
Yes, don't do that. But otherwise, this was a pretty nice film. Nothing groundbreaking necessarily, but it doesn't have to be. It was a nice story.
Yeah, as someone my age, you're right. It's not a super groundbreaking movie, but like I said, I think a teenager, this might be the first thing of its kind that they've ever seen. Like, this will be groundbreaking to some people.
You know what? Show this in schools. It'd be great.
Yeah. I'm gonna give Girls Like Girls a 78%.
Okay. I liked this over. Again, I thought they were able to capture some good realism, especially for that kind of time of what it was like growing up around what was it, 2009?
2009, I believe.
What was I, about 16, 17?
I was much younger than that.
I'm going to give this a 86%.
Oh, so you're the same age as these kids.
Just about, yeah. I was not nearly as cool as any of these kids.
You were much cooler than Ethan Hawke's son.
Yes. You said microaggressions. He had that, really nailed it. I don't think that was the only micro thing about his character.
And on Rotten Tomatoes, Girls Like Girls has an 86%.
Oh, right out of the gate. Nailed it. Yes.
Worth
I think
the
I
hype.
won. I won the podcast. I won this episode at least.
That movie is worth the hype.
Absolutely. Give it a watch. It's fun. It's kind of heartwarming, and it's always good to see a realistic, nice, just kind of coming of age movie about relationships and all the fun things that come with those.
Exactly.
All right, movie number 2.
We watched
Tuners with the dude from White Lotus.
Lotus.
He's been popping up in a few different things, it seems
he was
like.
in the Bridget Jones movie last year. He's going to be in that Anthony Bourdain movie.
That's right. It's a British lad, if I remember.
Yeah.
We've got him. We've got
Dustin Hoffman.
And they are piano tuners.
I've certainly never watched a movie about a piano tuner before.
No.
He has pretty severe tinnitus.
Very sensitive hearing. Mr. Tuner is a music or piano virtuoso, but he can't play because it bothers his ears too much. He's got his earbuds in all the time, or if he goes into a loud room, has to throw on the headphones.
Yeah, but it makes him a really great piano tuner.
Right.
And we then learn what else it makes him great at.
Since he's got really kind of, I don't know how you would describe it, accurate hearing?
Super hearing,
he's able to pick up the little clicks when turning the dial on a safe. And when he's tuning a piano, stumbles upon these guys trying to break into a safe at this house. He services pianos at like a lot of rich people's houses. These pianos are never even used. And discovers that he's got a knack for it, and he needs money to pay medical bills for his, I guess, boss or mentors.
It seems like maybe Dustin Hoffman and his wife kind of took him in, were pseudo-parents. There was a little bit of context there that maybe they knew his dad and his dad died.
That's right. I think it's established pretty early on Dustin Hoffman has some dementia problems and probably shouldn't have been working.
Yeah.
He ends up in the hospital pretty quickly.
He is not in this movie very much.
Not much. I liked his portrayal in this movie. It was pretty memorable. He was funny. But you're right. He's not the main focus.
No, it's mostly about Tuner. I'm just going to call him Tuner.
Mr. Tuner.
That's his name.
He meets this gal who is...
The gal from Bottoms.
What's her name? Mrs. Tuner. And she's writing music and is a piano player as well. So they strike up a connection.
They do. And it's one of those connections where they're kind of ribbing at each other at first.
Yes.
But then they get the mutual respect, and then they become a couple, and all that. I thought this kind of movie was one where the love interest stuff felt a little shoehorned in.
It really was not necessary.
It was giving... I mean, movies still do it today. Obviously, we're talking about one, but I think especially in, let's say, the 2000s, it felt like every movie had to shoehorn in a love interest.
Yes. We've grown past that, guys. We don't need to.
Yeah, it didn't feel necessary. It didn't feel like what the movie was about.
I did think from the trailer this was going to be a little bit more of like a heisty sort of movie because the concept is interesting. He has this very unique ability and is able to use that for some unlawful purposes.
Yeah, and he's essentially, backed into a corner with it.
Mr. Tuner's He's not a bad guy, yeah.
No.
Not violent or anything. He stumbles on the thieves who he ends up joining up with, these safe crackers, I guess, or I guess he's the safe cracker. They give him the job. Very nice mafia guys. Very nice. Very kind.
The one just wants to buy land and have an animal farm.
By nice mafia, I at least mean they could have done a lot worse.
Yeah, they weren't going into houses and trying to, like, kill people.
No.
They were essentially doing what John Hamm and Your Friends and Neighbors
Exactly.
does. They were just breaking into really rich people's houses and trying to take stuff that they wouldn't notice was missing.
Crossover, maybe?
When Tuner started getting into this and he was feeling all morally conflicted, I was like, rich people, who cares?
Because their whole idea is we're posing as, like, security installation people, but we're actually breaking into rich people's safes, and we're taking their, if they've got like a dozen really fancy watches they haven't touched in years, they're not going to notice a few things missing. But Mr. Tuner doesn't really think stealing things out very properly. He doesn't understand, like, hey, maybe you need to, like, fence or sell the stolen property instead of, I don't know,
giving it to your girlfriend.
Gifting a very specific and unique watch to your girlfriend with someone else's, like, initials engraved on the back. Mm-hmm. She doesn't question it, but soon the owner of the watch recognizes it.
Well, he tells her that he got it thrifting.
Right.
And they've been together maybe 2 weeks, and she says, I'm kind of uncomfortable that you got me this watch. And he says, oh, wasn't that expensive?
She looks at it, I was like, this is like a $200,000 watch or something like that. Whatever, I don't know, a Rolex goes for. Hey, go big.
Yeah, he should have just sold the watch and bought her something nice with the money. That's what a good thief would have done.
Honestly, just should have said, hey, very nice mafia guys, just pay me to crack the safe and you guys do whatever with what's in it.
Yeah, exactly.
Easy peasy. We should write movies.
Mm-hmm. There's one point when he wants out because Dustin Hoffman, spoiler alert, he died, and so he doesn't really need the money anymore.
There's a few characters who honestly weren't even needed in this story overall.
Yeah. The mafia guys, they need him to break into a safe for this other group of criminal guys.
It was kind of unclear. I think so, yeah.
They want a code. They're in like the guy's dad's house, and they want a code for some really big fancy
like crypto account.
Yeah.
Something like that.
I didn't really know where that was going because
same. I thought there were going to be more fallout from that interaction, but there really wasn't.
There was a pretty cool shootout scene that happened there.
Yeah.
And then Tuner is getting essentially held at gunpoint because they get caught. He's getting held at gunpoint. He has the codes in his hand, and the guy tells him to rip it up and eat it. But he memorized the codes.
Yes, he is able to, like, identify. He uses his skills to identify, like, piano key, what would you call that, tunes, or what keys they are.
Yeah.
F sharp, F minus, A plus, C squared.
But then he
piano lingo.
Memorizes the codes, and he goes in and looks at the account. I want to say they implied that he took
skimmed a little
$1 million
from the top.
Or something from the account. But then those guys were coming after him, and I just thought, bro, this would be so much easier if you just told them the code. You already took your little skim off the top.
Absolutely.
I think they got it in the end anyway, didn't they?
I think so. I assumed after Mr. Tuner is like, I don't want to be a safecracker anymore. This is getting too crazy for me. He's getting backed into a corner that the mafia guys are either going to go after him or his girlfriend or...
Yeah, they start threatening his girlfriend.
Yeah. He does get worked over some, but not nearly as bad as like I kind of anticipated, kind of given the sort of buildup we were seeing. I mean, we had a little bit of a shootout. A guy died from that. You'd think it's going to get much worse, but it doesn't exactly play out that way.
These mafia guys never felt like they were going to kill anyone.
They were tough, but reasonable. They only cut off his earlobe, not his whole ear. I thought he was going to be missing an ear.
I thought he was too. Like, why would you even cut off just the earlobe? Get the whole ear.
Now, main mafia guy does shoot a gun right by, or no, it's a air horn right by Mr. Tuner's ears and makes his condition so much worse.
Yeah, that is how he gets him in line, is by blowing an air horn at him.
Can't stand it. I did think that was kind of silly, but it makes sense in the context.
Well, it ends up blowing out his eardrums. And
It
now
does.
he can't hear very well. But now that he can't hear very well, he can play the piano again.
It's just so great on. I saved the last song onto my music playlist. It was so good.
I did think it was wild, though, because him and his girlfriend were having a conversation or a fight earlier, really, and he screamed at her that he was a better piano player than she could ever even think to be. And we've already said he hasn't played the piano since he was maybe 8 years old. And then at the end, he goes up to the piano and he's just fantastic.
Just
and
ready to go.
I think you would need maybe a little bit of practice to get back to that point.
Maybe for an amateur like you, but Mr. Tuner can do no wrong except, for all the other stuff. But
If a man yelled at me like that, was like, I am a
would
better
never.
piano player than you will ever be, I would not have gotten back together with him.
I'm just going to put it out there. You're a better piano player than I could ever dream to be.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Tuner, not bad. The story could have, cooked in the oven a little bit longer. Again, we had some characters who ultimately didn't have much payoff into the story, and I think the concept was interesting. I love a movie with a lot of musical themes and performances, a la, I want to say it's called Clickbait, the Drummond movie.
Whiplash.
Clickbait.
And
I
your
was close.
favorite Song Sung Blue starring Hugh Jackman.
Oh boy. So I enjoyed this movie overall.
I did too. It was an interesting concept.
Hey,
which,
we might get
that's
that
fun.
crossover with John Hamm's show. That would be fun.
They just run into each other.
It's possible. Yeah, I would say, what would I give Tuner? I'm gonna go with 77%
I'm going to go with 82%.
out of 100.
And on
that
Rotten
wasn't clear.
Tomatoes, Tuner has a 94%.
94?
That's a little high for me.
Yeah, this is a pretty good movie. Again, I don't think anything here was groundbreaking. The shots and directing were fine. Maybe people just really like watching folk play piano. I don't know.
I think maybe because it was such a unique concept.
Fair enough. All the actors were good.
I mean, I think we had a better heisty movie last year with Riz Ahmed's Relay.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
That's what this was giving to me the most, and I liked that movie more.
94 is a little high.
94 is a little high. I'm not going to say don't watch this movie, but 94, it is a tad overhyped.
I wouldn't go into this film expecting it to be like, wow, this is the most amazing thing I've seen this summer, anything like that. It's pretty good.
Yeah, if you like a good little heist movie, go for it.
I hope to see Mr. Tuner actor in more things. Seems like he's been in a few projects. He's
I
got
think
that
he's
Anthony
doing well.
Bourdain movie coming up.
Yeah.
Hey, keep it rolling. He does give me some looks wise, kind of looks like Michael Pitt a little bit, like his buffer younger brother.
Oh no, to me, he looks just like fucking Harry Jousey from the reality television.
Oh,
Yeah, that trips me up every time.
Fair enough. But yeah, Tuner, give it a shot. Worth the hype? Yes.
I'm gonna say middle because
Middle hype.
a 94 is too much. That's kind of egregious, but it's not a bad movie. Like I said, 82%, but 82 and 94, those are pretty far away from each other.
Fair enough.
And our final movie,
Yes.
taking it back to a movie that was re-released in 1991, but came out in 1961.
Mm-hmm.
101 Dalmatians.
The classic. Now, I grew up with this movie, and I remember, I don't think I've seen this since I was a small child,
Me
I don't
neither.
think. I remember enjoying this movie a lot. I've never seen was there a live action remake?
There was with Glenn Close.
Oh, maybe I've seen that also. I don't know,
Yeah,
but
that one's iconic.
This movie definitely did not hinder my love of dogs at that age or now. Dalmatians are real cute.
This was all Rolly's fault.
Yes, Rolly, they for some reason want to show that we need a fat puppy. I guess they're trying to imply.
And
even
of
though
course we call him Rolly.
Rolly, he is just the same size pretty much as all the others.
Let me tell you, he's just a food-driven dog.
They all
I've
are.
met a lot of food-driven dogs.
They all are.
That dog of your parents, you know the one I'm talking about.
Yep.
He is quite lithe, but he will eat a whole bag of oatmeal.
With a big old smile on his face. I did not remember many of the details from this movie, to be honest. I even forgot it took place in London. All the characters are British.
I had a stuffed Lucky as a kid, so that's the one I remembered was Lucky.
I'm surprised we didn't really focus much on the individual puppies all that much. We get, Pongo and was it Perdita?
Perdita, I think, yeah. They're the parents.
I liked how they viewed their humans as their pets.
I did too, and I will say, which this makes no sense, but it's a kid's movie, so I thought, it doesn't matter. I went into this movie, I truly thought that the 101 Dalmatians were biological children, like every single one of them.
I was thinking that as well.
No, they had a litter of 15, and then they rescued all of the other ones, which that makes much more sense.
And yeah, this plot and the story is pretty straightforward. This isn't a very long movie.
No.
I like the animation.
It was a more unique style of animation than I think some Disney movies. The backgrounds felt almost like modern art block style. I liked that.
I thought Cruella's portrayal was well done. She's busting into this house with the Dalmatians. I guess her and the female human, I forget her name.
They're college friends.
Yeah, the classmates, former classmates, and Cruella wants some puppies for nefarious reasons. She wants to make a coat.
What I thought was really funny, this was before Cruella even stepped onto the scene, and we just hear, oh yeah, my old school friend Cruella's coming over, and the husband, I forget his name, he got so upset that he starts writing the Cruella de Vil song, the classic one, because he's a jingle writer.
Yeah, that was great.
And I was just sitting there thinking, man, what a bad husband. She said, hey, my friend from school's coming over. We haven't even seen her. I'm thinking, does he know her very well? I'm sure he has met her and got a bad taste in his mouth. But I thought, man, the wife doesn't seem to dislike Cruella.
Yeah, she should have maybe picked up on some more cues that Cruella had some bad intentions. I liked the two little minions. What was it?
I do not remember their names.
It really reminded me of Harry and Marv from Home Alone.
It really did, yeah.
They were pretty funny. I think I specifically most remember from this movie the dogs like howling, and that's how they passed messages from each other, kind of like across from the city to the countryside. That's how they find the puppies. I did not remember that Cruella's like mansion where she keeps all the puppies is called Hell Hall.
Yeah, that's great.
I liked the Colonel, the dog, and then he's got his little like cat companion and the horse. That was funny.
Sergeant Tibbs?
Yeah, I think so.
I loved that cat.
I did not recall. I thought this movie, honestly, there was more to it. Maybe I watched the sequel or something. I think they made an animated sequel as well.
I do believe there's 102 Dalmatians.
Right.
And then I think they did a live action of both of those as well, I want to say.
That makes sense because it's pretty much the puppies get stolen, the dogs find out where they are, go get the puppies, and escape back home. Pretty open and shut.
Yeah. And now there's 101 Dalmatians. Oh, and then they say, well, what are we going to do? Well, I just made all this money off that Cruella de Vil song. So
let's adopt all 101 puppies.
And we're going to buy, and they say, we're going to buy a puppy plantation. And then he writes a whole song that I had totally forgotten about. I wonder why this song didn't catch on, called Puppy Plantation.
Hey, this came out in the 60s. I thought the animation and the drawing is kind of that more classic, unique Disney feel that you don't see too much anymore. Thought the voice acting and everything was really well done. They drew like London. It's kind of like dreary, but it had its upscale, nicer parts. I liked they showed all the different dog owners and their dogs kind of looking alike. The
I think
similarities.
that was my favorite part. And then Pongo's trying to get him to go to the park because he sees the pretty Dalmatian and he decides, I'm going to get my pet, because the humans are the pets. I'm going to get my pet a girlfriend.
Yeah.
And it works out. But yeah, I liked that whole park sequence.
Narration was great. All the voice actors did a really swell job. And I think the funniest part is, again, the movie, I think, was kind of misguided in picking on Rolly the whole time. But we just had fun with it. Every time he got, like, I don't know, trying to go through a little hole in the wall, getting stuck, we're just going, God damn it, Rolly, again.
Well, because Rolly was the one who kept getting them caught.
Yeah.
It was all Rolly's fault.
They're running for their lives, and Rolly's just, no, I'm hungry. Move it, Rolly. No, I'm hungry. Hey, I get it, bro.
Again, I say that skinny little dog of your parents would have been saying the exact same thing.
Very true.
It has nothing to do with Rolly's size. I liked that Lucky kept getting in front of the TV.
Yes. They really loved their shows.
And I don't remember any of the others' names. Oh, one was Patch, because he had the patch on his eye.
Right.
Are those the only 3 named Dalmatians?
I think they mentioned the others in passing, but it was kind of quick succession. I didn't really recall any of the others.
The most focused on of the Dalmatians, other than the parents, is definitely Rolly, though.
Yes. I loved at the end, Cruella is chasing after the puppies who they're escaping in like a moving truck, essentially.
Yeah.
She's driving after them, gets into a car accident. The one passerby is just, again, the 60s, just yelling, woman drivers! Cruella, she gets T-boned by her minions who are driving the other car, and she gets like ejected from her car. The animation I thought was really funny with that, but they're fine. She's just yelling at them. They're all lying in the snow after crashing.
Also very funny, the dogs, they have to get away from Cruella and the crew at one point, and they see all this soot. They say, all right, we're going to look like black labs. So they essentially do blackface and then
when it's on a dog, it's okay.
Making their way into the truck, and Cruella's minions just see 101 black labs going by, and they don't think there's anything suspicious about it.
Not at all. I did really like when they're hiding in the barn with the like the colonel and Sergeant Tibbs, excuse me, and they had the pony. Or the horse with his back legs ready to kick, and the cat's like using his ears as like the little launchers. Like, fire 1, kicks, fire 2. That was fun.
That was fun.
Yeah, voice acting really stood out in this. It was catchy with its little jingles. I just like this style of animation. I mean, there's a reason this is a classic kids movie.
Yeah, I thought it was good.
I think when I was younger, like when I was a child, this movie seemed like, for lack of better words, just bigger to me. But
that's fair. There's not much plot. There's not really any character development.
I think I probably watched this and the sequel probably on repeat a lot, and it just kind of took up a larger space for me.
I believe I more so watched the live action ones as a kid.
But not bad. This is a classic for a reason. Give it a watch. It's a good time.
I'm going to give 101 Dalmatians, I'm going to give it a solid 75%.
Okay. Ooh. I'll go with 82.
And on Rotten Tomatoes,
it's iconic.
98%.
98. People love this movie for a reason. I get it.
I do think compared to other Disney movies, that's a bit egregious.
Yeah, that's fine. I
think
get that.
98% is too much. It's not a bad movie, again. It's perfectly cute and enjoyable, but 98%, that makes you think it's going to be
I think it's
like
a movie.
The Lion King.
Yeah, true. I think this is a movie where either the concept or the title has really stood the test of time, rather than the meat of the movie.
Yeah,
and just the merchandise that grew out of that IP.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like you said, you had your own, was it Lucky dog?
Lucky, absolutely. And I was very confused watching this movie because my Lucky has a blue collar and this Lucky had a red collar.
The nerve.
I know, right?
We are sticklers about consistency here.
Mm-hmm.
With that, worth the hype for sure. Don't be expecting, like you said, this isn't on the same scale as your Lion Kings of Disney era.
I have to give another middle of the road height because 75% to 98%, that's just egregious.
Fair, fair.
But yeah, it's not bad.
Maybe in 61 when this came out, people were like, I've never seen anything like this. 101 dogs? How do they even do this? Like
Probably.
Probably even animating this was probably very groundbreaking for the time, possibly.
Well, back in these times, weren't the animators sitting there and they would maybe bring some dogs in and they would watch the way they would move? They'd bring some actors in, have them act out some scenes.
I feel like you really could tell some of the ways that the characters were moving. I could almost envision, oh, this is how they drew, and they like shot a person actually doing like this, like walk down this hallway, something like this, and then just animated it, and it looked very natural and realistic. Yeah.
I do think the animation they used for the maid is recycled character art from one of the fairies from Sleeping Beauty.
Yes.
Looked just the same.
Hey, Nanny was a real one. She was ready to fight those robbers to defend those puppies.
She was.
We love you, Nanny.
So I'm going to say my weekly ranking, I'm going to go Tuner, Girls Like Girls, 101 Dalmatians.
That's fair. None of these are bad movies.
No.
I'm going to go favorite this past week, Girls Like Girls, Tuner, 101 Dalmatians. When we get to 102, we're going to have to see if we like it better.
I know, right?
We'll come back and see what our scores are and see if it stacks up.
But with that,
thanks for listening.
Another week down. We'll be back next week with one new release and 2 91 movies.
See you then.
Goodbye.